This is not classroom economics, but it is the lesson of the real economic history of nations. Fourth, it is based upon this idea that I believe we must remove the PMS subsidy immediately. It has outlived its usefulness. It served life as a public good. We will never subsidize neighboring countries' fuel consumption, nor allow a select few to reap windfall profits and hoard our products. And the subsidy money will not be saved because we mean that means eliminating from the economy. Instead, we will redirect the fund into public infrastructure, transportation, affordable housing, education, and health, and strengthen the social safety net for the poorest of the poor, thus averting increasing security challenges. Fifth, fiscal policy will be the main driver. Monetary policy is weaker and a less effective instrument. Bad monetary policy is, of course, destructive. But even good monetary policy cannot carry the load the physical arm can. Thus, we must steadily remove ourselves from the fiction of tying our budget to dollar-denominated oil revenue. This is effectively pegging our budget to a dollar standard. It is an outdated as well as the fuel subsidy that we mentioned earlier. It is also restrictive and ties the economy to slow growth, just as the common man must mentally severe the code to the subsidy. The elite must severe the code to this artificial fiscal restraint. Instead, let us begin to produce budgets based upon what we believe is needed to achieve optimal growth without producing excessive inflation. It is better path to sustainable growth and shared prosperity. Therefore, when elected, our budgeting will be based upon projected spending level needed to push real annual growth to above 10%. While reducing the unemployment rate so that we can double the economy in 7 years. Sixth, we are a nation of over 200 million souls, over-outlived in urban areas. The vast majority are young. If we do not expand our manufacturing base to provide jobs and also create affordable goods and products for the population, we will have much larger problem on our hands in near future. Our National Industrial Instrument Infrastructure Plan must be given the full breadth. This includes solving the power problem, perennial problem that's It's been confronting us for several years. 7, climate change is real. Yes, to achieve a national political consensus needed to address this problem, we must promote climate justice and not cast it as a stark trade-off with the economic growth, particularly for developing countries. I stop here and ask you a question. How do you ask me not to use firewood? Protect my forest. When my children are hungry at home. Yes, we believe in the sanctity of agreement and consensus. We sign off before Ukraine war. But yet, nobody promised us what we could do to reactivate and recharge Lake Chad. What is the level of our development? So, we will consult all of you, be bold. What is happening to our home? Can we attract investment? Can we get waivers to really bring about uninterrupted, steady, right voting, right transmission of power to drive our economy? It's a must. You can't ask us to sign up. And implement something that may cut off our head to cure the enemy of others. Will we achieve all this through close consultation and collaboration with the private sector to determine the right policy mix to get us towards our shared goal? Yes, we talk of inclusive growth through productivity. Productivity and competitiveness are essential if Nigeria is to increase export and take maximum advantage of African continental free trade area through strong industrial base. For our industries to thrive, they need inputs, many of which are agriculture based. The present administration has invested heavily in agriculture, providing loans and expanding the country's total area of cultivated land for crops, livestock, fishery, and others. We will also promote vibrant commodity exchange that will guarantee minimum pricing for produce. With that stimulant, yes, people will resort to agree. Now we are planting and harvesting only one time a year. Should we continue that way? I think we will achieve the growth and food security expected. I say no. We must try minimum 2 times harvested a year. We will build on this with a focus on using technology and expertise to accelerate the growth and yield. We will deliver the critical infrastructure necessary to achieve the commodity transformations and agribusiness to plug seamless into higher, more lucrative entry points in regional and global value chains. In fact, the real strength of any economy rests on the backbone of its infrastructure. Already, the present administration has made unprecedented strides, completing several key projects all across the country, which has been pending for decades, spanning over 1,000 kilometers of roads and bridges, such as Second Niger Bridge, very proud of. The Lagos-Ibadan high-speed rail connected to Apapa Port, the Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline, the NESG train 7, 5 new international airport terminals, and many more. Building on this foundation, we will accelerate the fifth implementation of the infrastructure master plan. If necessary, join us to amend it if you are going. But we adopt proven financial structure till we deliver an acceptable stock of hard infrastructure through seaports and airports and road, rail, water transportation, linkages that can support our desired economic growth. I assure you. Fixing the perennial problem of energy supply is a top priority. I agree with you. There is no version of the world where Nigeria's ambition for itself can be achieved without solving the problem of how to provide energy to homes, businesses across the country. We have privatized power distribution in Nigeria and generation to a certain degree. What we need to do going forward is to improve the enabling environment for that decentralized transmission and deliver cost-reflective tariffs to attract more private investment in this sector. Broadband infrastructure is critical for the expansion of our technology ecosystem, which has already been attracting record amount of global financial attention in recent years. We shall support the sector to grow into a full-fledged digital economy with a significant effect on our economic development and progress. With micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises contributing nearly half of Nigeria's GDP, generating over 80% of all jobs in the country, our administration will continue to prioritize the implementation of ease of doing business and reform. You, members of the economic team, be prepared. Think, and let's do it together. We shall also prioritize policies that will enable access to credit and promote financial inclusion. Interest rates must be significantly reduced. This will spur a mortgage and consumer credit revolution where cars, appliances, housing will be more available and create an expected growth.
Fail if that is not addressed.
Answering questions from a detailed presentation, Bola Tinubu said he would hit the ground running within his first 100 days in office by selecting a team of technocrats that will help him run the country, as he did when he was governor.
It was quite interesting because as we saw the challenges with the oil and gas sector, we've also been impacted. And to put this in context, Nigeria's power today comes mainly from the thermal and hydro. The thermal is actually 89%. So as we're having the issues with gas, coming from the challenges around the sector, from the oil theft, the vandalization, it's affected the business and affected that sector. It would be nice to just get some more information. Because we don't want to give out your secrets. But for me, as someone who represents investors, because that's what Transco is about, we do further investment, it would be good to get to know more about what we are going to do specifically in this space. Furthermore, of course, as a female, and a female in leadership, I would also like to know some more about what we're going to do for more policies that would encourage, create an enabling environment for more female participation in key places. I'm not about token appointments. It's more around, I have the credibility, I have the credentials. And when I say I don't mean Owen, I mean the general female population, whereby we can have certain policies that will enable more women to play in the sector. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The question of our oil sector, you will have identified the problems. Today, there's artificial intelligence, there's technology that can censor those areas of interventions, illegal interventions. Metering is another thing. Reform that is so critical. To me, having been in that industry before, I was the finance person on the also condensate project. I separated it from OPEC countries. Amobu made profit. Why are we commingling? And what is the problem that we are not today at a great advantage to compete with Russia on gas? Because we have not invested. We didn't put investment on long-term incentive to compete in Europe. Our gas is in the ground. It cannot turn to money until we push out there. What is the problem? Tax variations. The investors want lower taxes. I don't blame them. But I will grant you the lower taxes and take my deferred profit in the future. The deferred profit can be discounted. I'm turned to money today. As long as there's guarantee of no disruption and effective commitment to the sanctity of contract. Simple. I won't say more than that. I have a secret in my pocket.
You alluded to the global economic crisis, and I agree that to a large extent it serves to impact local economies around the world. But when I look around today, the greatest problems that we face, you could say, are self-inflicted, very disentangled from what is happening around the world. In a crisis, some people suffer and some benefit. In this crisis, it's for Nigeria to benefit, but we are suffering, without any question. And I like the point you have made about being part of also Condescent and the role you played in Mobile. And I wanted to just ask you, increasingly I hear that people in government see IOCs and others in the business as privileged people. In fact, a senior government official asked the IOCs, if you are complaining so much, why are you still in Nigeria? The truth of the matter is, it is only their body we see, their soul is gone. There's absolute, and I'm sure you know more than I do. What would you do in terms of attitude change? Would your priority be to re-attract private capital from the IOCs back to Nigeria? Because it has little to do with energy transition. Those companies that are leaving Nigeria today, every day we see them set up operational base, sometimes in Africa, and if for gas, mostly in Guyana. So I ask, what would your attitude be to attracting investment from IOCs? And I'm talking about energy, and that's all I'm going to talk about. The other question would be, Olokola LNG and Brass LNG, I was told recently by a diplomat that if we had prosecuted both projects, today Nigeria would be earning $500 million weekly from exporting gas. What would be your attitude to that? Again, to energy. Nigeria has proven reserve of gas, 200 TCF. Russia has 300 TCF. So if you like, we are 66% of Russia. Russia earns $800 to $1 billion selling gas every day to its enemies in Europe, not friends. So we should be selling on a daily basis $600 million from gas. That has nothing to do with global crisis. It is a proper Nigerian failure. What would you do to turn around Nigeria's energy prospects? Thank you, sir.
When there was oil and gas scarcity around the world, isn't it? We were the king. Even our leaders boasted then that money is not a problem, it's only how to spend it. Now you are broke. So you own 60% of both the gas and the crude on the ground. 60%, and you are not the operator. Why not take a critical look and evaluation of that? Could changes in ownership structure or shedding weight bring more revenue to you? These are questions. I don't want Mr. Selito to get my idea. You look at that. To catch the rabbit, you got to give a bait. What is taking them to Guyana? There's some incentive in it. Maybe favorable taxes. But instead of having to dig ground and build a city in Guyana, you already have the infrastructure to some extent here. So we'll negotiate. Give up some of the pork belly areas that Nigeria wants. I'd rather have 40% and you keep 60. If on the long run, it will give me the necessary incentive and the revenue that I need for an accelerated growth and recovery. You find a way to change the formula. There are certain things I know I can't say now. I am the first speaker. But just take it. If you want an omelette, you've got to break the egg.
Asiwaju Tinubu has reiterated his resolve to urgently address the fiscal, monetary and trade reforms to effectively increase domestic production immediately, if elected, and many agree with these viewpoints. With renewed hope, the ultimate aim of a government led by Bola Ahmed Tinubu is to ensure better macroeconomic stability by accelerating inclusive growth and job creation across Nigeria.